Hello, my name is Naima Duarte, and this is my audition for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Starting off with a little bit about me, I am 18 years old, and I am from a small town in Nevada called Dayton. I've lived here for a majority of my life, but I spent the first 6 years of my life in Miami, Florida. That's actually where I was born. I didn't actually start getting into theater until about middle school, and even then I hated performing. I had horrible stage fright, but really all it took was a little nudge from my favorite theater teacher to get me hooked on performing. That year, I was inducted into our theater troupe, Troupe 5373, and I chose to compete with monologues. And actually, that year, and for the next 5 consecutive years up until this year, I made it to the international level, which is something I am super proud of. This year, Nevada Thespians was kind enough to award me a $700 scholarship to go to internationals in June, which I am extremely grateful for. Although I love acting, and I have acted in countless shows since my 8th grade year, and I love performing and putting on shows and memorizing the lines and bringing characters to life, my actual passion lies in directing and creating my own story. So my senior year, I was actually given the opportunity to write and direct my own one act at our school, which was very successful, and one of my proudest moments, being able to cast and direct and have complete rule over everything about that show was amazing. And I want to use that passion and move forward with my theater education. And I truly believe that going to your school and using your facilities will allow me to advance to the next level and take my ideas and bring them to life. Thank you so much for this opportunity. He needed us. He needed our love, and we shut him out. You told me to shut him out, and I did. And that night when he called on the phone, he said if he couldn't see his little girl near Christmas time, then it wasn't worth living. And you said, stop threatening when you don't mean it, and he said, I do mean it. I'm gonna kill myself. And you told me he wouldn't, but you believed him enough to hand me the phone. You believed him enough to hand me the phone and say, don't talk to him, because he's drunk as usual, and there's no telling what he might say. Just hang on to the phone so that he knows I haven't hung up, but don't talk to him. Don't say anything. So I held on the phone, and I heard him say, is that you, darling? If it is, please speak to me, because I love you, and no matter what I've done or what I've been, I love you. Please speak to me for the love of God. And then the sound. Quiet. Like the breaking of a pencil. I mean, it was just a little sound, almost silent. And I just held onto the phone. I held onto the phone until I heard somebody say, be careful with his head. Don't move him. And I just held onto the phone. I held onto the phone until you got back, and I didn't say one word. I didn't say anything. The kitchen is a murderer's paradise. I mean, saucepans crack, knives chop, scissors stab, kettles of boiling water scald. I mean, the possibilities are endless, especially when you have an axe to grind. It's funny, really, considering we spend most of our time in the kitchen. Why is it that male murderers often want to cook their victims? I mean, I'm surprised they even know how, but me, I'm an expert cook. The amount of times I've served up yesterday's remains with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, called it by a French name, and fooled my husband into thinking he was eating something truly fresh and exotic. Well, food, like sex, is all in the mind. You know, it didn't take me long to realize that although I'm single and have been for many years, I'm still not free. I'm suffering from the ex-wife syndrome. A bleak vision of the future has overtaken me. A vision of myself growing old, alone, loving nobody ever again. When I look in the mirror, I see a woman who doesn't measure up. I see nothing more than Kenneth's ex-wife. sorry. Since the day he left me, obsessive thoughts have been running in and out of my mind. That night I was mincing some meat for dinner and I had this spark. What would it be like to mince his flesh? I mean, would he make a good steak or a better bolognese? I mean, he's not a skinny man. He's really, really meaty. It's food for thought, though, isn't it?